So I wanted to do a episode 7, The Force Awakens synopsis video. So warning, this is going to contain potential spoilers, although a lot of it may be wrong. This is just a synopsis based off a lot of posts I've read, some research I've done, and of course the released trailers. I want to put this together for you guys who are interested in kind of what's going to happen in episode 7 and what the movie's going to be about, as opposed to just speculating. But for those that don't want to see that kind of stuff and don't want to know anything, you may want to go ahead and click away now. Alright, if you're still here, so this is going to be, again, the synopsis of what I believe is going to basically happen in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is going to be kind of an abridged version, obviously, because we can't get all the details, and I didn't want to go too deep anyway. I just want to go over what I believe the structure of the movie is going to be and how it's going to kind of play out with the main characters that we know of. So to set this up, I want to go over what happened shortly after Return of the Jedi, and that was the Battle of Jakku. Now, I just mentioned this on the last video I just filmed on Star Wars Battlefront, the game that's coming out, because there is some downloadable content of the Battle of Jakku. But this kind of sets up the premise for the areas and characters we'll see in episode 7. So the Battle of Jakku was essentially a battle shortly after Return of the Jedi where the Empire, the remnants of the Empire, went after the rebels. During this fight over Jakku, which is the planet that we've seen in the trailer episode 7 that we first mistakenly called Tatooine because it looked so much like it. This is where the picture behind me with the Star Destroyer went down that we've seen in the trailer. Mass casualties on both sides, but the rebellion was damn near wiped out apparently. So this was apparently after Han and Leia had their twins that we now believe, or pretty much know, is Kylo Ren and this Rey character. Apparently Han and Leia got separated, and Han was with Kylo at the time, Rey was with Leia. Han and Chewie and Kylo were then captured by the Empire. Han and Chewie have been rotting in an Imperial prison cell for the last 30 years or so. Now the Empire apparently reformed to form the First Order, and that may imply that there are other factions out there trying to grab power, but of course the First Order seems to be the main antagonist, the new Empire. The Leia story is still unclear, so apparently Rey ends up there on Jakku as kind of a scavenger. This battle created this ship graveyard, so it essentially created this settlement there on Jakku where Rey ends up. So from what I understand, the former Moff or Grand Moff or Regional Governor, which is the Max von Sydow character, is left for dead by the Empire because he was in charge of the Star Destroyer that crashed there. So apparently over the last 30 years, there's been no love lost between him and the Empire because they kind of left him for dead. He's kind of become a de facto leader of this settlement on Jakku, which has kind of become sort of like a Mos Eisley because of the potential of looting all these ships. So during this time, Luke apparently tries to go and rescue Han and Leia and everyone, all his friends. He hears that they are all dead. Believing them all to be dead, he takes off and goes into seclusion in an Obi-Wan type situation, apparently on Tatooine. He kind of loses it, or loses faith in the Force, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe he's teetering on the dark side, but he goes into seclusion. So apparently he's been kind of MIA for the last 30 years. So that kind of sets up what we're going to see in episode 7. So I believe the movie's going to open with Kylo Ren going after what I believe to be Luke's lightsaber that he lost in Empire Strikes Back. So somehow it made its way from Bespin all the way to Jakku now, where apparently Rey either buys it or finds it. I'm not sure if she knows who her parents are, or maybe she does, but she keeps this lightsaber. So apparently the Finn character played by John Boyega is a Force-sensitive stormtrooper, and he seems to think the Empire or the First Order now is okay because he believes they're going to restore peace and order to the galaxy. He is apparently promoted to this elite squadron of stormtroopers that works with Kylo Ren. I believe we're going to see him like we saw in the trailer, where we see Kylo Ren coming down to a settlement looking for this artifact, which I believe to be this lightsaber, because I believe he knows it's his grandfather's. He apparently doesn't like the way he's treating people because he's trying to be the badass, and he decides, fuck the Empire, he's going to get the hell out of there. So when they get back to the Star Destroyer, he tries to escape, and that's when we see where the Empire are shooting at a TIE fighter, and that's him escaping from this hangar, and he then crash lands on Jakku, and then of course the Empire goes after him being a defector, and that's when he meets Rey, and Rey helps him to escape the Empire. During this time, I believe, Han, it happens to be on the same Star Destroyer in prison, and during the scuffle, during the skirmish or what have you, he makes his escape. Him and Chewie get the hell off the Star Destroyer, and they end up meeting with Finn and Rey, I believe probably on Jakku, where she had found the Millennium Falcon, which she had lost 30 years prior. So they get it up in working order apparently, or maybe she's been working on that, and they escape and get the hell off the planet, possibly chased by the Chrome Trooper, Gwendolyn Christie's character. They finally make it off the planet and decide to go find Luke. So apparently they go to Tatooine. altogether. They find the whereabouts of Luke and finally get a hold of him. I guess they get a hold of him, either they give him a call or text him, maybe they got good Wi-Fi service on Tatooine, and they finally meet up with Luke, and he senses the Force in Finn, finds out who Rey is, being his niece. He agrees to train Finn and possibly Rey as well. So I don't think we're going to see Luke a lot in this film. I think we're going to see him more towards the end of the film, and that's probably where he gives his speech about,
"The Force is strong in my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. You have that power too."
I think this film is going to focus mainly on the Solo family, but you got to kind of establish what Luke's been up to, where he's been, and what he's going to do going on for episodes 8 and 9. I think we'll find out more details about Kylo Ren being in the Knights of Ren, probably defected from the rebellion originally, or he's either been raised by the Empire and been given a kind of twisted version of events and thinking that the Empire were the good guys, and that his grandfather should have been Emperor of the Galaxy, being Darth Vader, so he's infatuated with him. He's a relic collector, a Sith artifact collector. We still don't know the Andy Serkis character, the Supreme Leader Snoke. I still think he's Darth Plagueis, because I think up to the point where Ren and Snoke work together, that Ren has possibly learned a few things from holocrons, although I don't know that a Force user who is untrained could even open holocrons. I think we've seen with the lightsaber that he probably welded that in his garage, the crossguard lightsaber with an unstable crystal perhaps, because that's why we see the fire effect versus a smooth plasma blade that we're used to. I think we'll find out more details as far as, you know, how they grew up and why they believe what they believe, and the Leia piece is still kind of a mystery. We know she's in the film. We see the portion of the trailer where this alien hand is handing her Luke's lightsabers. Apparently they all meet up at some point after they escape Jakku and find Leia, Luke, and then Leia perhaps, and they all kind of get reunited probably near the end of the film and explain the Knights of Ren a little bit better, and hopefully we get to find out, at least get a strong hint of who this Supreme Leader Snoke is of this new First Order. So that's basically it in a nutshell. That's kind of an abridged version. Obviously we're not going to have all the details anyway, but I wanted to throw that out there for you guys who love spoilers and kind of want to know what's going on with this movie, as opposed to just staying completely in the dark. I know it's not going to spoil it for me either way. Anyway, trying to catch up on videos, got a lot more coming, so in the meantime you can click here for the last video I did on the Star Wars Battlefront game coming out, and for you Ice and Fire nerds you can also click here for the last video I did on the Jon Snow, Kit Harington photo leaks from being on set and filming in Belfast. Check those out, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like these videos, keep sharing, be sure to subscribe to get everything. Thanks for watching you guys, and we'll see you next time.